Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 5, Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 59 496 The Birth of a Mortal Herb. 59th of Volume 5. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Splash. Li Wei retracted the purple heaven thunder seal and plunged into the sea, pulling the, severely injured, Xuanhuan to the surface. The purple heaven thunder seal, as large as a millstone, hovered above him, its ancient carvings wreathed in thick thunderclouds. Combined with the solemnity of his governor's official robe, his aura radiated extraordinary power and majesty. Dozens of zhang away, Yi Kang's eyes burned like twin fireballs. The heavy blade in his hand, 1,000 inscriptions artifact, erupted with scripture, covering the blade in his arms as his blood and spiritual chi surged wildly within him. 3 7th grade 100 inscriptions artifacts, a set of mother and child blades, orbited him, their edges gleaming with lethal light. Though the Xuanhu clan and the Imperial Court's veteran experts remained distant, at least 10 Dao heart manifestations already pressed down on Yi Kang. If he dared to swing his blade at Li Wei, he would undoubtedly suffer the same fate as Yi Baiyu. Yi Kang had never felt so humiliated. His killing intent raged like a storm, yet he was forced to restrain himself. Today, I've witnessed the methods of your Lingxiao realm martial mystic cultivators. This debt will be settled in full. Seeing the approaching swarm of Lingxiao realm human clan experts, Yi Kang dove into the depths, retrieved Yi Baiyu's remains, and stored them in his boundary pouch. Li Wei gazed at the grief-stricken Yi Kang. Leave the East Sea immediately, and you might yet live. Continue to ally with Fu Wenyan, and your death is assured. Yi Kang shot him a cold glare before joining Fu Wenyan, Meng Huolong, and the others. Tai Shi Yu, stepping on talismanic runes, hurried over, watching Yi Kang's retreating figure. He sighed, he actually managed to restrain himself. Such formidable self-control. You must be wary of someone like that. He'll undoubtedly be watching you constantly, waiting for you to falter or show weakness, ready to strike a fatal blow. Li Wei didn't underestimate his opponents or grow complacent, treating every ninth heaven martial mystic cultivator with respect. The 5 members of the Zhongsheng Academy, working together, could already hunt down a young heavenly emperor from the ninth heaven, posing a grave threat. I had hoped to seize this opportunity to cripple half their strength, but alas, none of them are pushovers. Their rationality overrides their emotions. I still believe Fu Wenyan poses the greatest threat, Tai Shi Yu said. Once he achieves a breakthrough, he'll become a top-tier powerhouse. Li Wei nodded, glancing down at Xuanhuan in his arms, then out at the distant sea, where powerful figures were gathering 6-clawed immortal dragon chi. Martial mystic cultivators from nearby islet reefs continued to converge on the scene. Casualties had already begun to mount in the struggle. The demon clan, human clan, ricefolk, and various major powers were locked in a tangled web of conflict and hatred, showing no mercy to one another. Li Wei carried Xuanhuan back to the Zhu Li tribe's warship. Moments later, she used the disguise technique to transform into Lu Fengshu, and she and Li Wei reappeared on the deck. They announced that Xuanhuan was recuperating from her injuries aboard the ship. In the distant sea, the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi gradually dissipated, absorbed by martial mystic cultivators from all factions. Li Wei felt no regret. The amount of 6-clawed immortal dragon chi released this time was minimal. Over the past few months, small amounts had been seeping from the seabed daily. Kang Li, Li Ling, Hidden 9, Yin 11, and other young martial mystic cultivators stood on the deck behind them, refraining from joining the competition. Anyone daring to venture into that sea was at least a 7th heaven powerhouse. The celestial phenomena are changing, Xuanhuan murmured, sensing something amiss. She raised her eyes to the sky, watching the black clouds race across the horizon. An inexplicable aura enveloped the entire deep-sea realm. The seawater turned ink black. Waves surged violently, threatening to engulf the Phoenix Stone Reef 10 miles away. Feng's intent echoed in Li Wei's mind. The immortal seeking pearl is fluctuating. Oh. In the next instant, Li Wei and Xuanhuan transformed into 2 streaks of light, descending from the ship and swiftly appearing on the crimson Phoenix Stone Reef. The Phoenix Stone Reef was primarily composed of rock, spanning about 100 zhang in diameter. A towering bronze pillar, hundreds of meters tall and 7 or 8 meters in diameter, stood at the reef's center. Its origin remained a mystery, unlike any human-forged artifact, radiating an awe-inspiring presence. In this sea area, only 9 islet reefs were safe, each inscribed with profound formation scriptures by the holy spiritual king. Elsewhere, the seabed could collapse at any moment, or dangers beyond the comprehension of Dao Seed realm martial mystic cultivators might erupt. 30 miles away, a brilliant radiance appeared in the sea, shifting between crimson, azure, and golden hues. With each change, the surrounding seawater mirrored the shifting colors, fiery red like a sea of flames, azure like polished gemstones, and golden like molten iron. A refreshing fragrance carried by the wind reached Phoenix Stone Reef. Even breathing the air felt like a cleansing of their limbs and bones for Li Wei and Zhuoqiu Hongting. Dark clouds descended, and waves crashed against the sky. Whoosh! On the distant horizon, the legendary Dragon City mirage materialized. The mirage was ethereal. Yet the hazy outline of Dragon City was both majestic and mysterious. Its walls, once towering like mountains, now lay in ruins, many sections collapsed into rubble. Dragon bones littered the landscape, and a skull the size of a hill had smashed a massive crater into one corner of the city. A crimson river flowed eternally, its source and destination unknown. The scene was so vivid it felt as if such a place truly existed, an ancient city destroyed and abandoned, its history pressing down with the weight of ages. Li Wei and Zhuoqiu Hongting simultaneously activated their heavenly eyes, piercing through the mirage's luminous haze. Within the illusory Dragon City, they spotted a foot-tall rare herb. It had no leaves, only a single radiant flower swaying gently in the wind at its apex. The flower had 3 petals, each shaped like a heart. They radiated crimson, azure, and golden light respectively. 3 colors. Heart-shaped. This is the legendary immortal herb. Zhuoqiu Hongting, a voracious reader whose knowledge rivaled that of lifelong scholars, recognized the rare herb within the Dragon City mirage. The fragrance of immortal herb carried for hundreds of miles, its radiance illuminating the entire sea. This was no mere illusion, it was real. In the era before the immortal Dao dragon vein withered, living beings had to cultivate a immortal body to join the top immortal sects. Martial mystic cultivators who failed to achieve this had only one chance to change their fate, to find immortal herb. Excellent. By consuming immortal herb, even with my ordinary chief disciple's innate talent, I can definitely cultivate a immortal body. Once I reach the immortal realm, my innate talent will advance further, rivaling that of the elite chief disciples. Even in ancient sects like the Rice Palace and Calamity Crossing Temple, a immortal body appears only once every few decades, usually achieved only by those with true disciples. The excavation of the ancient immortal dragon remains has indeed revealed a heaven-defying opportunity. Some martial mystic cultivators, demonic beasts, and ricefolk elders recognized immortal herb. Their eyes burned crimson as they surged into the Dragon City mirage at breakneck speed. My lifespan is nearing its end. Only by consuming immortal herb and cultivating the immortal body can I break free from the immortal shackles and ascend to the immortal realm. Today, anyone who dares to challenge me will face my wrath. A gaunt elder, his hair completely gone, burst from the water like a corpse rising from its coffin. Lightning crackled around him as he moved with terrifying speed. This was the great elder of the Thundercloud sect, one of its 10 most senior members. Like Zhu Kashir Chongtian, he was already 140 years old. His physical body had been cultivated to 80% of the immortal body's strength. Despite countless years of effort, he had been unable to progress further. You seek to break through to the immortal realm and extend your lifespan by another Jazi. But I am a top-tier disciple. If I cultivate the immortal body and reach the immortal realm, I will finally stand shoulder to shoulder with the young heavenly emperor of old era, never again forced to bow my head. Meng Huolong, the foremost expert in the Zhongsheng Academy, was determined to obtain immortal herb. He unleashed the 4th layer of his great technique, the dragon seizing hand, sending the great elder of the Thundercloud sect flying. A claw-shaped pit, several dozen feet wide, appeared in the luminous, misty ground of Mirage Dragon City. Princess Dengfeng revealed her true form, a vast, white jellyfish cloud spanning dozens of feet, ethereal as gauze and radiant as light, a sight of breathtaking beauty. Formation scriptures and talismanic runes enveloped her as she soared over Meng Huolong's head, rapidly closing in on immortal herb. The turtle scholar followed closely on the ground, clearing the path of pursuers. Li Wei and Zhuoqiu Hongting, propelled by divine swiftness talismans, slipped through a breach in the city wall and entered Mirage Dragon City. They soon discovered that while the city appeared illusory, composed of light and mist, it possessed tangible resistance. Touching any structure caused ripples to spread across its surface, blocking their fingers from penetrating. Li Wei was stunned. The mirage before them was clearly projected from elsewhere. Even the massive dragon bones on the ground, mere illusory shadows, exuded a palpable aura of dread, causing their soul spirits to tremble. Boom. Rumble. Princess Dengfeng, Zhu Kashir Chongtian, Turtle Scholar, Tang Zan, Meng Huolong, Fu Wenyan, Yi Kang, the great elder of the Thundercloud sect. Over a dozen top-tier experts clashed fiercely within Mirage Dragon City. Anyone who dared approach immortal herb would immediately face attacks from all the others. In such a terrifying battlefield, ordinary ninth heaven martial mystic cultivators and 9-star spiritual masters risked certain death if they intervened. Princess Dengfeng wielded a flying sword and the prefectural governor's official seal she had seized from Fu Wenyan, suppressing all the powerful combatants. Each strike of her spiritual artifact sent 2 or 3 opponents flying. The ancient immortal dragon remains haven't been fully excavated yet, Fu Wenyan declared. There must be more than one stock of immortal herb waiting to emerge. If you join forces with me today, I swear by the sect sage's name that once I break through to the 9th heaven and cultivate the immortal body, I will help each of you obtain a stock of immortal herb. The 4 great experts of the Zhongsheng Academy, including Fu Wenyan himself, converged, unleashing their strongest spiritual artifacts. With unstoppable momentum, they advanced, successively injuring Turtle Scholar, Tang Zan, the great elder of the Thundercloud sect, and others. Even the Zhu Kashir Chongtian, the 72nd layer of heaven, couldn't withstand the combined power of the 4 experts. Whoosh! Princess Dengfeng's phantom avatar materialized from the jellyfish clouds, descending beside immortal herb. Even she couldn't suppress her excitement, her eyes gleaming with joy as she reached out with a trembling hand to pluck the treasure. Boom! A colossal black flood dragon tore through the earth of Mirage Dragon City, erupting from the seabed. Its head was as large as a house, its scales like palm-sized obsidian fans, and its eyes blazed with a light as bright as the sun and moon. Its aura radiated boundless power. The Mirage Dragon City crumbled into luminous mist. The black flood dragon's massive head sent immortal herb and Princess Dengfeng's phantom avatar flying skyward. Ahu! The black flood dragon unleashed a dragon's roar, spewing a torrent of water that repelled the 4 members of the Zhongsheng Academy. The dragon's massive body contracted, condensing into a humanoid form. Prince Mingzhao had arrived. Standing 8 feet tall with flood dragon ears, he wore black obsidian armor and was shrouded in nether mist. His long hair cascaded down his back, radiating unparalleled dominance. With a claw-like grip, he crushed Princess Dengfeng's phantom avatar with a resounding pop. Then, he reached out to seize the immortal herb. In midair, Princess Dengfeng's true form let out a delicate shout, manipulating her flying sword and prefectural governor's official seal to unleash a torrent of scriptures, suppressing Prince Mingzhao. To her, anyone could claim the immortal herb except Prince Mingzhao. Prince Mingzhao didn't even turn around. He activated his black mystical armor, causing over 7,000 dragon-shaped scriptures to erupt from his body like 10,000 dragons charging forward, blocking the flying sword and prefectural governor's official seal behind him. His 5 fingers extended, the tips less than a foot from the immortal herb, victory seemingly within reach. Stop fighting. The immortal herb must be claimed by this true disciple. Anyone who interferes will die. The moment Sheng Wulian's voice rang out, his body materialized before Prince Mingzhao, as if appearing from thin air. The radiant white light erupting from his body clashed violently with the nether mist surrounding Prince Mingzhao. Half a mile away, Li Wei realized it was too late to intervene. He reluctantly drew the 1000 inscriptions artifact giant bow. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 5, Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 60 497 Confronting Sheng Wulian. 60th of Volume 5. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Wei channeled his spiritual chi through all 120 meridian veins, drawing the bowstring to its limit. The 7-clawed heavenly dragon flame arrow materialized on the string, radiating a brilliance that outshone even immortal itself. Thwong. The arrow shot forth, its force shattering the surrounding mirage scene into mist. Bang! Bang! In an instant, Sheng Wulian and Prince Mingzhao clashed palms 7 times, one employing a grappling technique, the other a claw-like strike. Prince Mingzhao, already weakened from enduring Princess Dengfeng's flying sword and the prefectural governor's official seal, was struck in the chest by Sheng Wulian's finger. Ripples spread across his chest as his 7th grade 1000-character artifact armor clanged metallically. Prince Mingzhao was sent flying backward, crashing through miles of mirage-scene structures before finally stabilizing himself. Boom! Immortal herb was struck by a flame arrow, its radiant glow shattering. The arrow exploded. 3 petals flew in different directions. Sheng Wulian, on the verge of claiming immortal herb and becoming a true disciple, watched helplessly as the arrow streaked past him. He could clearly see the 7 claws on the dragon-shaped arrow, but its speed was too great to intercept. Princess Dengfeng, positioned nearby, swiftly retrieved the blue heart-shaped petal flying toward her and immediately pursued the red heart-shaped petal. Prince Mingzhao, Zhu Kashir Chongtian, Tang Zan, and the others also charged forward. Li Wei retrieved a dazzling crimson silk sash, activating it to lash out at the golden petal soaring 100 zhong to his right. Stop him. We can't let him claim immortal herb. If his power grows any further, we'll all die in the East Sea. Fu Wenyan knew Li Wei's ruthlessness all too well. The Twin Rice sect had been nearly wiped out, why would he be spared? He brandished his 9th rank 1000 inscriptions artifact, the bronze brush. The brush's white, transcendent bristles transformed into a cascading river, entwining with the crimson silk sash. The bronze brush far surpassed the sash in both rank and power. It was a spiritual artifact coveted even by those in the great immortal realm, containing strands of transcendent energy within. Then kill him. Yi Kang sprinted across the Mirage Pavilion's rooftop, 3 spiritual artifact sub-blades spinning out along the crimson sash to strike Li Wei first. Meng Huolong and Fu Baowu unleashed their Dao Heart manifestations, the 72 Sages, and the 1000-character classic, respectively, suppressing Li Wei from 100 zhang away. The two advanced with the majesty of dragons and the ferocity of tigers. Zuoqiu Hongting flashed forward, positioning herself before Li Wei and raising her peachwood staff horizontally. Instantly, an 8 trigrams formation shield materialized, its surface densely covered with formation glyphs, blocking the 3 flying daggers before colliding with the Dao Heart manifestations of Meng Huolong and Fu Baowu. Boom. The shield held. In terms of formation mastery, Zuoqiu Hongting far surpassed Li Wei, who had never seriously studied such formation techniques. Li Wei raised a finger to the sky, summoning the 72 Thunder Annihilation formation above Fu Wenyan's head. 72 bolts of thunder and lightning cascaded down like a waterfall, engulfing him in a cataclysmic display of power. Seizing the opportunity, Hong Ling surged like a raging river, violently shaking free from the bronze brush's entanglement before Li Wei recalled her to his side. After retrieving the golden petal from Hong Ling, Li Wei remembered Zuoqiu Hongting's warning against direct consumption and stored it in his wind mansion. Let's go. Li Wei sensed numerous powerful figures approaching, shouting for Zuoqiu Hongting to retreat. Suddenly, an overwhelmingly terrifying aura descended, vast and boundless. A blinding white light engulfed Li Wei and Zuoqiu Hongting's vision, rendering them unable to see anything. They could only feel Shang Wulian's presence, like a divine being or a sacred mountain, rushing toward them with overwhelming grandeur. Meng Huolong and Fu Baowu, overwhelmed by Shang Wulian's aura, hastily dodged to either side. Almost the instant the two dodged aside, Shang Wulian surged forward like a white beam of light from between them, shattering the 8 trigrams formation with a single palm strike, scattering peach blossoms across the sky. Li Wei, his heavenly eye blazing between his brows, instantly countered the annihilating gaze of heavenly light, and charged forward without hesitation, unleashing his most powerful palm strike. Martial mystic Dao and psychic power converged. Activating the perfected 3rd layer of 6-fold samsara burning karma technique, Li Wei channeled spiritual qi and psychic power into a single strike, condensing them into a heavenly dragon and golden crow that collided with Shang Wulian's palm imprint. This palm strike surpassed even the power of a 3rd layer imperial technique. Boom. Li Wei's long hair whipped wildly as the mirage scene behind him shattered completely. A flicker of astonishment crossed Shang Wulian's eyes. Though this palm strike wasn't a particularly advanced Dao technique, it was certainly beyond the capabilities of anyone below the young celestial emperors. From Zuoqiu Hongting's brow erupted a psychic radiance as brilliant as the sun, blazing like spiritual light flames. With a sweeping motion of his peachwood staff, he unleashed a 888 trigrams formation seal, sending Shang Wulian staggering back dozens of meters from his palm clash with Li Wei. Well done. Li Wei, Lu Fengshu, today marks your end. In the next instant, Shang Wulian mobilized the primordial chaos spiritual qi within his body. With 99% of his immortal body activated, his blood qi surged like a raging river. He unleashed both palms simultaneously, striking with the primordial chaos palm and the Ji Emperor's seal. Zuoqiu Hongting planted her peachwood staff before her. Fueled by her surging psychic power, it rapidly transformed into a towering peach tree. The tree's branches were adorned with petal-shaped runes. Li Wei didn't have time to cast 6-fold samsara burning karma technique again. He immediately unleashed the purple heaven thunder seal. The pan peach tree intercepted the primordial chaos palm, while the purple heaven thunder seal clashed with the Ji Emperor's seal. Boom. The combined force of their attacks leveled the mirage scene within a several-mile radius, sending tidal waves surging in all directions. Whoosh. Lu Yi sprinted forward, leaping over Li Wei and Zuoqiu Hongting's heads. His halberd descended like a mountain-cleaving strike, crashing down on Shang Wulian's head. A brilliant white light erupted from Shang Wulian's crown, blocking the halberd, but the force drove him deep into the seabed. 3 miles away, Si Wuyan transformed into a black cloud mist, streaking across the sky in pursuit of Princess Dengfeng. Wu Hongling and the purple-clad woman arrived from opposite directions. The former moved with mystical footwork, while the latter soared through the air on an azure boat. The purple-clad woman stood on the azure boat, cradling her zither. 1,000 zhong long zither string sliced through the void with an ear-piercing shriek, its sharpness like a sword, its movements unfathomable. A large force from the rice palace is approaching. We need to leave now. Li Wei and his companions activated their divine speed talismans and raced back toward Phoenix Stone Reef. Sheng Wulian, Wu Hongling, and the purple-clad woman pursued them to the reef, where they witnessed over 1,000 martial mystic cultivators from the Lingxiao realm raising hundreds of spiritual artifacts. 5 battle formations rapidly advanced to encircle them, each unleashing powerful armaments. The 5 battle formations represented the Zhu sect, Thundercloud sect, Zhuoqiu sect, Snowsword Tang court, and Zhu Li clan. Seeing such a formidable formation, Sheng Wulian and his companions immediately retreated, turning back toward Mirage Dragon City to confront Prince Mingzhao, who had stolen the Crimson Petal. The Zhao clan holds immense power in the East Sea. We must not let Prince Mingzhao escape back to his reef. Sheng Wulian turned to glare at Li Wei and his companions, who had already boarded their ship. A gnawing sense of defeat told him that his confidence in being invincible within his realm would be forever tainted if he failed to eliminate these 3. On the Zhu Li clan's warship, every martial mystic cultivator's eyes burned with fiery intensity as they watched Li Wei, roaring, "The divine hidden one is mighty." The hidden ones of the Zhu Li hidden sect, in particular, swelled with pride, their heads held high. To clash head-on with Sheng Wulian, the true disciple of the Rice Palace, had shattered all preconceived notions. At the commander's banquet, Zhu Kashir Chongtian and Sheng Wulian clashed palms, resulting in Zhu vomiting blood and staggering backward. Have the others returned? Li Wei asked, concerned about the Lingxiao realm martial mystic cultivators facing retaliation from the Rice Palace. Tang Zan, carrying his twin swords, landed gracefully on the Zhu Li clan warship. Except for a few old fools clinging to their last breaths, everyone else has retreated. Zhu Kashir Chongtian stepped onto the deck, his voice seething with frustration. Prince Mingzhao of the Zhao clan stole the Crimson Petal. Mirage Dragon City is closest to us. I propose we mobilize our forces and crush them all. With only the Zhu sect's 300 axe-wielding soldiers, Zhu Kashir Chongtian lacked confidence in simultaneously confronting the Rice Palace and the Zhao clan's overwhelming forces. Li Wei gazed at the distant, majestic Mirage Dragon City. He saw colossal black shadows surging from the depths into the city, while the sky above swarmed with demon clouds, blotting out the sun. The Zhao clan's demon beast army was steadily converging, their numbers far surpassing the Lingxiao realm human race martial mystic cultivators. Li Wei said, "Our battle formation is powerful, but its slow movement speed means it can only be used to cover our retreat and for defensive counterattacks." Zhu Kashir Chongtian sighed deeply, knowing that going back now would mean a full-scale war with the demon race. In a war against the Eastern Sea monster clan in the East Sea, defeat was inevitable. Li Wei comforted him, there can't be only one immortal herb. We'll have another chance. Zhu Kashir Chongtian nodded solemnly, then burst into hearty laughter. Regardless, the appearance of immortal proves that excavating the ancient immortal dragon remains truly offers a chance to cultivate the immortal body. We've only just started digging. Zhu Yibai exclaimed. Exactly, exactly. Zhu Kashir Chongtian agreed repeatedly. Across the towering waves, the water beaver immortal raced toward them, his feet treading on crimson mist. Brother! He shouted urgently, Your Highness the Princess is being pursued by Si Wuyan, Gai Kanghai, and Gai Lingyun. She couldn't return to Phoenix Tail Reef and fled south. One blade shatters the sea, twin blades battle the clouds. Gai Kanghai and Gai Lingyun's combat prowess far surpassed even Huoxin and Junxin's. Li Wei glanced down from the warship and smiled, Don't worry. Your Highness the Princess undoubtedly carries escape treasures. She'll be fine. No, it's serious. Really serious. The Rice Palace cultivators also have escape talismans. The water beaver immortal paced anxiously, his words tumbling over each other. If Your Highness the Princess could handle it, she would have returned to the reef by now. This can only mean the enemy is too powerful, leaving her no chance to escape. My cousin and the others have already rushed there, but the demon race lacks the human race's mastery of battle formations. They can only rely on their lives to overwhelm the enemy. Li Wei frowned, finding some truth in the water otter immortal's words. Brother, don't hesitate. Lend us your strength. In terms of top-tier experts, the Lingxiao human clan is far inferior to the Rice Palace and the Calamity Crossing Temple, a difference of 108,000 miles. As for the number of troops and demons, they pale in comparison to the Eastern Sea Monster clan. You can't rely solely on the Calamity Crossing Temple, you need more allies. Your Highness the Princess mentioned she possesses essence herb that's 5,000 years old, the water beaver immortal said. Superior chief and top chief disciples are nearly impossible to cultivate after birth, requiring extraordinary opportunities. However, ordinary chief disciples are easily nurtured by ancient sects. For example, the 10 geniuses rewarded at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival can visit the Calamity Crossing Temple to reshape their meridian veins, Wind Mansion, and Ancestral Field, forging a stronger foundation for cultivation. Even at the 5 Seas realm, where establishing a foundation becomes significantly more challenging, they could still manage it. In the Spring Surge realm, the ancient sect possessed numerous methods for nurturing martial mystic cultivators with 100 silver veins, allowing them to select the most promising talents from multiple life realms. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 61 498 The Demon Slaying Whip. 61st of Volume 5. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Whoosh. Li Wei, Zuoqiu Hongting, Lu Yi, Water Beaver Immortal, the 3 clan chiefs of the Zhu Li tribe, and 4 priests were enveloped in a rune cloud haze and pursued southward. This rune cloud haze was activated by an elderly priest, a treasured artifact of the Zhu Li divine hall sealed within a yin banner, capable of carrying multiple people. Its speed exceeded the speed of sound, making it impossible for ordinary immortal realm giants to catch up. The Zhu Li tribe's ancestors had once enjoyed unparalleled glory. The ancestors of the Zhu great tribes were the 9 most accomplished descendants of the god of the Zhu Li, all transcendent beings who left behind countless treasures for their descendants. Within the rune cloud haze, Li Wei explained to the 7 Zhu Li elders, I understand that the Lingxiao realm and the East Sea Demon clan have a long history of conflict, marked by constant raids and battles. However, the 9 Ring Reef lies deep within the East Sea. By showing goodwill to Princess Dengfeng after excavating the ancient immortal dragon remains, we might secure safer passage when the Zhu Li tribe withdraws from the Lingxiao realm, reducing future risks. Moreover, Princess Dengfeng is on the verge of breaking through to immortal realm. In the future, she will wield significant influence within the East Sea Demon clan. The 3 clan chiefs and 4 priests nodded in agreement, believing that seizing this opportunity to forge a favorable connection wouldn't be a bad thing. Below, on the sea's surface, demonic beasts from the East Sea, both on the surface and in the depths, were gathering in massive formations, heading south. Along their path, colossal demon corpses floated on the waves, staining vast stretches of the sea crimson. Its second master whale. The 7th-ranked warrior under Princess Dengfeng's command, cleaved in 2. Damn that rice palace. That headless corpse is the leader of the Spirit Ascension River Tongxian demon clan's younger generation. His combat prowess rivals that of a human clan martial mystic cultivator at the peak of the Dao Seed realm's 9th heaven. A blood debt. A blood debt. If this vengeance goes unavenged, I swear I will never call myself a demon again. Water Beaver Immortal recognized one slain demon powerhouse after another, his claws clenching with anxiety for his cousin and Princess Dengfeng's safety. Lu Yi explained, a year ago, 2 true disciples from the Rice Palace in the Immortal Realm were killed, their corpses planted in rice paddies. That's why Sheng Wulian and Si Wuya, both at the peak of the Dao Seed Realm's 9th heaven, were urgently promoted to become the new true disciples. Normally, the true disciples of the ancient sect is only determined at the Immortal Realm. Sheng Wulian and Si Wuyan secured their positions early because they had the backing of formidable experts. However, if they fail to cultivate the immortal body in the Dao Seed realm, their true disciple status will remain precarious. Once an inheritor achieves a breakthrough with the immortal body, their positions will become extremely precarious. This is why they're willing to go to any lengths to seize immortal herb and strive for the immortal body. Li Wei asked, the true disciples in the immortal realm were killed. And their bodies planted in rice paddies. Who would dare such audacity, risking retaliation? Rumor has it that it was the work of a heavenly emperor's disciple, Lu Yi replied. For Sheng Wulian and Si Wuyan to cultivate their physical bodies to 99% completion within a single year is truly remarkable. Even if other young heavenly emperors had such an opportunity, they might not have been able to seize it, a Zhu Li tribe clan chief marveled. The clan chief, now 110 years old, had once prided himself on being a peerless prodigy, invincible within his clan. After decades of relentless training, consuming countless resources, and enduring daily hardship, he had only managed to cultivate a immortal body strength of about 50 to 60%. The geniuses of an entire province paled in comparison to the dazzling brilliance of Sheng Wulian and Si Wuyan, appearing utterly mediocre in their presence. The rune cloud haze soared 900 miles. Finally, they spotted the fierce battle raging on the sea. Turtle Scholar, Crown Prince Ba, and 5 other demonic beasts were all wounded, desperately held back by Junxin, Rice Palace, and 8 other 9th Heaven chief disciples. Each chief disciples wielded 1,000 inscriptions artifact, their power nearly matching that of Chongji Daozi. Don't worry about us. Hurry and rescue Her Highness the Princess. Crown Prince Ba roared toward the sky. Cousin, hang in there. Water Beaver Immortal cried out, noticing the deep gash on Crown Prince Ba's abdomen, blood gushing from the wound. It was a slash inflicted by Gai Kanghai during the earlier pursuit. The rune cloud haze flew another 300 miles. A vast, pitch-black cloud stretched across the horizon, its interior churning with violent hurricanes and surging spiritual qi. This was Si Wuyan's Dao heart manifestation. Within a 50-mile radius centered on his body, night had fallen, the air thick with yin qi, altering the very weather. The Dao heart manifestation of an ordinary chief disciple, even at its peak, rarely exceeded 30 miles. Only the young heavenly emperors could surpass 50 miles, demonstrating a fundamental difference in power. Without hesitation, the rune cloud haze enveloped Li Wei and his companions, plunging them into Si Wuyan's Dao heart manifestation. Li Wei activated his heavenly eye, unleashing the Fusong divine tree light shadow and the seven-clawed heavenly dragon Dao heart manifestation to illuminate the darkness. The others employed their own techniques, striving to shatter Si Wuyan's Dao heart manifestation and avoid being suppressed. In the distance, Princess Dengfeng soared through the air, fleeing southward. She wasn't avoiding other directions by choice, she was trapped in a three-sided attack. Gai Kanghai and Gai Lingyun, both formidable top-tier chief disciples, pursued her from the east and west, their Dao heart manifestations pressing down on her. It was well known that top-tier chief disciples at the same cultivation realm could withstand a dozen or more strikes from the young heavenly emperor. Working together, the two could hold their own against them with a 30-70th split in favor of the young heavenly emperor. In a life-or-death struggle, even a supreme chief like Kang Li would force Luan Sheng Linyu to pay a price for his life. Si Wuyan, wielding the golden demon-slaying whip, stood atop surging waves, his expression dark and grim. Crack! With each swing of his arm, the demon-slaying whip transformed into a golden lightning bolt stretching several miles across the sky, striking the jellyfish cloud and driving her southward, away from the approaching demon clan army. She was being herded like sheep, with no choice in the matter. Hand over the immortal herb petal, and we'll let you leave. You should understand my resolve. Refusal means death. Si Wuyan's voice rang out, shaking the night sky. Countless scriptures suppressing demonic beasts materialized on the demon-slaying whip, which lashed out again, shattering a large section of the formation scriptures and talismanic runes protecting Princess Dengfeng's true form. Gai Kanghai seized the opportunity, unleashing a blade aura. The blade aura surged like a luminous waterfall, colliding with the sword aura unleashed by the jellyfish cloud's battle sword. They dared not approach too closely, wary of Princess Dengfeng's hidden trump cards. Instead, they aimed to dismember her from a distance. Princess Dengfeng's voice echoed, "This is the East Sea. Your audacity knows no bounds. So what if it's the East Sea? The Rice Palace has annihilated demon clan forces of this scale before. Yu Jia's distant journey, the flying dragon's fall, the East Sea is now nothing more than a 10,000-mile lake." Si Wuyan's tone was brimming with confidence and conviction. He continued, "In southern Yingzhou, all powers rise and fall, their fleeting glory followed by endless decline. But the Rice Palace is different. We have never fallen, always standing above the clouds, eternally prosperous." Princess Dengfeng asked, "If that's the case, why was your true disciples thrown into a rice paddy and used as fertilizer? Aren't you afraid you'll suffer the same fate?" Snap! A golden bolt of lightning slashed across the night sky. The demon-slaying whip pierced through the protective formation scriptures and talismanic runes, striking Princess Dengfeng. Thanks to his 99.9% immortal body, Si Wuyan's relentless fighting spirit far surpassed that of other young heavenly emperor, granting him an absolute advantage. "Who's there?" Si Wuyan sensed someone had breached his Dao heart manifestation. Dozens of miles away, Li Wei shouted, "Princess Dengfeng, how should we proceed with this negotiation?" "As you see fit," Princess Dengfeng immediately replied. "You're courting death." Si Wuyan frowned and muttered the words before bellowing, "Gai Lingyun, stop them. Gai Kanghai, let's strike with full force and close the distance. Don't give her a chance to escape." Si Wuyan knew he had no other choice but to take risks and act aggressively. Gai Lingyun, wielding twin blades, charged toward the group emerging from the rune cloud haze behind them. From several miles away, he unleashed a horizontal slash, creating a towering wall of water 30 meters high. Boom! Behind the towering wave, the purple heaven thunder seal rose, shattering Gai Lingyun's blade strike. Lu Yi soared into the air, his battle intent blazing, and charged forward with his battle halberd. "He's mine. Old Lu, can you really handle this alone?" Li Wei asked, deeply aware of the formidable power of the four opponents, the purple-robed woman, Wu Hongling, Gai Kanghai, and Gai Lingyun. He didn't want to risk his comrades' lives in a rescue attempt for Princess Dengfeng. Boom! Lu Yi clashed with Gai Lingyun, their battle raging across the water and into the sky. The force of their energy was overwhelming. The battle halberd and war blade collided, unleashing bursts of fire and ripples of scripture. He can handle it. He definitely can. Just ignore him. The water beaver immortal urged, his gaze fixed on Princess Dengfeng. The group rapidly closed in on the battlefield. Li Wei had no intention of engaging in close combat with a powerhouse like Si Wuyan. A coordinated ranged attack was the safest approach, allowing them to fully exploit their strengths. The four priests, their hair white with age, were all 9-star spiritual masters. Positioning themselves at the cardinal directions, they immediately began deploying their formation-setting tools. Some formation scriptures were inscribed on yin banners, others on transcendent bones, and still others on spiritual artifacts. A century of painstaking research, a millennium of accumulated knowledge, all for this moment, to unleash their full potential. The clan elder of the Qi Li tribe, a towering aberrant humanoid, roared, "Qi River." His ancestral field opened, and a river of spiritual artifacts surged forth, thousands of weapons of all kinds hurtling toward Gaikanghai. Their only strength lay in sheer numbers, though half were flawed artifacts they couldn't bear to discard. Hearing the whistling wind, Gaikanghai's eyes narrowed. He whirled around, raising his blade to cleave through the river of artifacts. Boom! Boom! Artifacts exploded one after another, shattering into scrap metal. The clan elder's heart bled with pain. He kicked a nearby priest. Left with no choice, the priest entrusted the formation to the other three and bellowed, "Talisman rain." His brow center spirit realm erupted with brilliant light, unleashing a dense torrent of talismans that surged along the Qi River like a torrential rain. Gaikanghai felt a prickle of unease. He loathed facing 9-star spiritual masters over a century old, men who had dedicated their lives to refining formations and crafting talismans, capable of unleashing unpredictable, ancient techniques. Whoosh! He retracted his Dao heart manifestation, condensing it into a protective barrier several meters wide. Countless blade shadows flew within the protective barrier. A river of talismans crashed against the barrier, exploding repeatedly and forcing Gaikanghai to retreat again and again. Clan chiefs, lend me your strength. Li Wei channeled all his spiritual qi into the governor's official robe. The two clan elders unleashed pillars of spiritual qi from their palms, enveloping Li Wei in a radiant aura. Ow! A white, mist-like dragon soul over 100 meters long erupted from the patch on Li Wei's chest, soaring into the sky to attack Si Wuya. The higher the grade of spiritual qi used to activate the official robe, the stronger the dragon soul summoned. Zhu Kashir Chongtian had managed to seize a flag in a peak battle by wearing a governor's official robe. The dragon soul within the robe had significantly enhanced his combat prowess. The dragon soul summoned by the combined power of the three men exuded a profound aura. Its head and claws were exceptionally solid, and its roar shook the heavens, accompanied by wind thunder, carrying a trace of the martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor's imperial might. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 62 499 Heavenly Sword Talisman. 62nd of Volume 5. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. The dragon soul's power was immense. Even Si Wuyan, who dared to clash directly with its dragon claws, staggered under the force. Princess Dengfeng's situation had drastically changed. Abandoning her retreat, she now engaged Si Wuyan in a fierce counterattack, the battle instantly escalating to a fever pitch. True disciple Si, retreat now. The demon race's main force is already on its way. If you don't leave now, you'll truly become the dead true disciple. Water Beaver Immortal shouted across the distance. Whoosh! Gaikanghai broke free from the weapon river and talisman rain, his movements as ghostly as a phantom. In an instant, he appeared above clan chief Qi Li and the talisman controller priest, slashing down with his blade to unleash over 2,000 scripture characters. The scripture characters coalesced into a blade shadow. The two old men possessed numerous treasures. One activated the clan's myriad inscriptions artifact, a cauldron-shaped device inscribed with 10,000 characters, while the other hurled a battle-soul talisman crafted by a holy spiritual master. Gaikanghai's expression darkened. He cursed inwardly, resentful that such powerful artifacts were wasted on these two old fools. Unwilling to risk a direct confrontation, he abruptly plunged toward the seabed. Zhuoqiu Hongting had anticipated this move. She pointed her peachwood staff, and a brilliant beam of Spur 5 it light struck Gaikanghai, sending him flying backward. Gaikanghai's armor absorbed the fatal blow, but a sharp pain shot through his chest. He immediately retreated, realizing this group was far more formidable than he'd expected, their preparations too thorough. He telepathically warned Si Wuyan, "True disciple, we must withdraw. Their reinforcements are no ordinary troops. They're all 9-star spiritual masters. Once their formation is complete, its power will be beyond comprehension. Trying to escape. You're all staying here. 9 Peaks Formation Tower." The four priests simultaneously activated the formation, their spiritual light surging like a vast ocean, their techniques masterful. Above, countless formation glyphs materialized in the sky, coalescing into 9 luminous, divine peaks that crashed down with thunderous force, relentlessly crushing Xuanhuan's Tao heart manifestation until it shattered. These peaks, resembling 9 true divine mountains, radiated overwhelming power. Even powerhouses like Xuanhuan and Gai Kanghai held their breath, the air growing heavy, their bodies unable to remain suspended, plummeting toward the sea. Princess Dengfeng's voice rang out, "Suppress and kill them. We must weaken the Rice Palace's strength, or the consequences will be dire." Xuanhuan and Gai Kanghai crashed into the sea and immediately fled, desperate to escape the formation's grasp. From within the jellyfish cloud, a pair of 100-meter-long phoenix wings unfurled, blazing like twin fiery clouds. She swooped down with ferocious speed. "Stop them. Don't let them escape. If Xuanhuan joins forces with Sheng Wulian, no one can stand against them. We must eliminate one of them first." "This demon race princess speaks wisely," one of the priests declared. "Since we've already offended them, we might as well kill them outright." Li Wei smiled bitterly. Even the Huoxin's ancestral field possessed a reservoir of transcendent spiritual qi. A true disciple like Xuanhuan likely harbored world-destroying, desperate techniques. Cornering him would be far too dangerous. "Then let's fight," Li Wei declared. If all else failed, he still had the cloak imbued with the dragon-headed camel's full-force strike. A chilling aura surged from the eyes of the 7 elders of the Zhu clan as they manipulated the 9 Peaks formation tower, unleashing waves of murderous light that churned the sea into a raging tempest. Simultaneously, the weapon river and talisman rain coiled around Xuanhuan and Gai Kanghai, restricting their movements and body techniques. "The Zhu clan dares to defy the Rice Palace," Xuanhuan roared. Having cultivated the death chi from the life-death primordial chaos chi, Xuanhuan radiated a ferocious aura. With a flick of his demon-slaying whip, he instantly shattered over 100 incoming spiritual artifacts, melting them into molten iron. The whip's tip flashed like golden lightning, lashing out at Li Wei and his group. Zuoqiu Hongting formed a formation to intercept the strike. Boom! The whip's impact detonated the air, scattering golden mist and scripture fragments. The formation shattered, sending the group flying backward. Xuanhuan fared no better, as the white mist dragon soul's tail lashed him back beneath the 9 Peaks formation tower. No matter how powerful an individual's cultivation or combat prowess, 2 fists can't withstand 4 hands. Li Wei drew a talisman, pinched it between 2 fingers, and waited for the perfect moment to strike with lethal precision. Princess Dengfeng, still seething from being ambushed by 3 powerful experts and lashed by the demon-slaying whip, seized her chance. With Xuanhuan restrained, she let out a phoenix scream, and a dazzling fire spring materialized 100 zhong above the sea. The spring, a 3 zhong wide aperture, continuously spewed molten flames outward. It resembled a hole torn in the sky, pouring out blinding magma. This is the fire spring, renowned alongside the wisdom spring and mother-child spring. How did a mere jellyfish obtain such a treasure? Sensing the imminent danger, Xuanhuan activated his spiritual artifact to defend himself. The fire spring unleashed by Princess Dengfeng was no ordinary spring, it was one of the 9 springs cultivated by ancient powerhouses. As the molten flames plunged into the sea, the water instantly boiled. Splash! Seizing the moment while Xuanhuan was fully occupied defending against the fire spring and the 9 Peaks formation tower, Li Wei unleashed the Heaven Sword Talisman. The talisman soared forth, tearing through the sea surface. The seawater parted in 2. As the talisman burned, it transformed into a 7 zhong long golden greatsword, unleashing the full force of a Immortal Realm first-stage expert's strike. The sword slammed into Xuanhuan's back. The blade shattered his spiritual artifact battle armor and pierced through. Xuanhuan's body erupted with the aura of a martial mystic Tao Heavenly Emperor. Within him, 73 of his 206 bones glowed brightly. The radiant light from these Heavenly Emperor bones pierced through his muscles and skin, shining through his entire body. Boom! A destructive force erupted from within him, instantly shattering the talisman sword that had pierced his body and tearing apart the 9 Peaks formation tower above. This power had been bestowed upon him by a Rice Palace expert. In the face of death, he could unleash it to annihilate any enemy. Princess Dengfeng immediately dove into the fire spring. Around the fire spring, the luminous projection of the jellyfish clan's founding ancestor materialized. Li Wei was about to unfurl his cloak when 2 priests surged forward, positioning themselves to the left and right of the group. They formed finger seals, and from the spirit realms between their eyebrows, 2 nether lanterns flew forth. The lanterns illuminated 2 ancient runes, passed down through generations by the divine temple's 9 great priests, each priest guarding 1 rune. Boom! The 2 runes unleashed terrifying energy, blocking the destructive force erupting from Xuanhuan's body. The priests coughed up blood. The runes were powerful, but the priests themselves were not strong enough. Today's humiliation will be repaid tenfold by the Zhu clan. Cough cough. Si Wuyan's voice echoed from over 10 miles away. Severely wounded, he had narrowly escaped the Heaven Sword Talisman, using an escape talisman to flee at breakneck speed. Pursuit was impossible, he vanished from their senses in an instant. The 3 clan elders rushed to support the 2 priests. Li Wei used his body technique to find Lu Yi 7 miles away. Lu Yi's battle armor was shattered, blood streaming from her chest, yet she stood as straight as a spear. Si Wuyan struck me as he fled, she said, that man is too strong. If he hadn't been so badly injured, his claw would have pierced my chest. As it is, I'm fine, no bones or organs were damaged. As Li Wei and Lu Yi returned, they spotted Princess Dengfeng emerging from the fire spring. Li Wei shouted, this is a huge loss. Not only have we completely antagonized the Rice Palace, but look at the devastating losses we've suffered. Princess Dengfeng's ethereal figure descended from the sky, landing lightly on the sea surface. She smiled. I will personally cover all losses. Repay the debt with petals from the immortal herb, Li Wei demanded. Okay. Princess Dengfeng readily agreed, but her tone shifted instantly, not this piece today. Once I obtain immortal herb in the future, I'll gift the entire plant to the Zhu clan. Li Wei scoffed. Empty promises. Who would believe you? Princess Dengfeng retrieved a medicinal box and tossed it to Li Wei. He opened it to find a Millennium Essence herb, 5,000 years old, enough to allow 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors to break through to the 8th heaven within days. The previous pill had only pushed 6 of them to the peak of the 7th heaven, failing to trigger a breakthrough. Second Phoenix's breakthrough to the 8th heaven was solely thanks to the immortal seeking pearl. Ultimately, the problem was too many mouths to feed. 7 mouths, each entitled to only 1/7 of the pill. Li Wei retorted, this herb is barely worth 1 Heaven Sword Talisman. I've failed countless times and wasted vast resources just to refine a single one. I could easily buy a 5,000-year-old essence herbs from Master Ma, it's not like I can't afford it. Princess Dengfeng countered, 5,000-year-old essence herbs aren't simply bought with money. Even in the Dao Domain medicinal gardens of prefecture cities, only a few such plants grow, they're exceedingly rare. Master Ma sold it to you because he recognized your potential and wanted to forge a connection. Like a divine dragon, he appears and vanishes without a trace. You might encounter him at any moment, yet you might never find him even if you seek him out. 5,000-year-old essence herb are indeed rare and highly sought after. They serve as primary ingredients for low-grade spirit pills, and the ancient sects purchase them at exorbitant prices. The hidden lord scoured the sea market but managed to acquire only 7 essence herbs aged between 3 and 4,000 years. Princess Dengfeng added, today, I possess other means and might yet escape. But using my trump card now would make the ensuing conflict far more perilous. Therefore, I will remember this act of kindness from the Zhu clan and repay it generously in the future. Your Highness the Princess is too kind, a priest said humbly, it was merely a small gesture. Clan Chief Qi Li of the Qi Li clan punched the priest's shoulder. Clan Chief Qi Li understood that earning Princess Dengfeng's favor was far more valuable than monetary compensation. The Zhu clan has suffered significant losses this time, and many have been severely injured. But repayment is unnecessary. The Zhu clan considers Your Highness the Princess a friend. Princess Dengfeng, with her keen intellect, saw through Clan Chief Qi Li's intentions and readily agreed to forge a favorable alliance. With the Rice Palace's intervention, the East Sea region was entering an era of chaos. Every friend gained meant one less enemy. After exchanging pleasantries, she consulted with Li Wei, knowing that the Zhu Divine Hidden One's influence surpassed even that of the clan chiefs. The golden petal you obtained is sufficient to refine your golden bone to 99% completion, she said, the blue petal I acquired will significantly enhance my physical body. Though we failed to kill Si Wuyan, we destroyed his life-saving measures. Next time, his death is assured. Moreover, we've uncovered the full extent of his power. He refined 73 heavenly emperor bones, allowing him to rapidly cultivate his physical body to 99% strength. The martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor bones refined by Si Wuyan were similar to the Flying Dragon's dragon bone awarded at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. These bones, taken from the corpses of Heavenly Emperor, had already lost their internal essence, retaining only formidable defensive capabilities and faint traces of the martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor's spiritual chi. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 63 500 Golden Bones at 99%, Second Phoenix makes another contribution. 63rd of Volume 5. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. If we allow him to absorb enough six-clawed immortal dragon chi to temper all 73 heavenly emperor's bones, imbuing them with immortal energy, even without achieving an immortal body, he could withstand the weakest martial mystic cultivators in the immortal realm. Zhuoqiu Hongting, under the guise of Lu Fengshu, participated in the discussion. Si Wuyan has been severely wounded and poses no immediate threat. If another immortal realm cultivator emerges, Prince Mingzhao and Bai Yeqing will become our greatest rivals. Princess Dengfeng then proposed assassinating Prince Mingzhao, claiming that powerful members of the Flood Dragon clan had already pledged allegiance to her and could approach him undetected. She offered to cede all treasures to Li Weiyi and Lu Fengshu in exchange. Li Weiyi saw through Princess Dengfeng's scheme immediately. Prince Mingzhao and Bai Yeqing had seized 3 islet reefs, while she controlled only one. The Water Mother clan commanded a vast number of demonic beasts, and a single islet reef was woefully insufficient. The beasts below would inevitably question her leadership. If Prince Mingzhao were assassinated, Bai Yeqing would be forced to ally with her against the Calamity Crossing Temple and the Rice Palace, guaranteeing her another islet reef. Her plan was a double-edged sword, striking 2 targets with 1 blow. Li Weiyi, unwilling to be manipulated, pondered for a moment. Si Wuyan and Fu Wenyan are our greatest enemies right now. We shouldn't make more enemies until we've dealt with them. From what I know, the Rice Palace isn't a united front. Many are vying for the true disciple's position. We can exploit this by using them as pawns to eliminate our enemies. Are you referring to Wu Hongling? Princess Dengfeng asked with a smile, her gaze fixed on Lu Fengshu. She assumed the red silk in Li Weiyi's possession had been seized from Wu Hongling. After all, the two had disappeared for some time. Zhuoqiu Hongting, disguised as Lu Fengshu, wore a curious smile as she studied Li Weiyi. Li Weiyi, with a clear conscience, replied confidently, Your Highness could try informing Wu Hongling that Si Wuyan is critically injured. The sisters might seize the opportunity to strike. I doubt they have the courage, Princess Dengfeng remarked. Li Weiyi continued, We could also spread rumors that Wu Hongling obtained a heaven-defying opportunity beneath the sea, making her strength comparable to the young heavenly emperor in the same cultivation realm. While other beings might be unaware of the commotion beneath the sea near Moon Dragon Island, Princess Dengfeng undoubtedly knew some of the truth. Princess Dengfeng chuckled, You truly are devious. Your Highness. Turtle Scholar, Crown Prince Ba, and other powerful figures of the demon clan led their vast army of demonic beasts to the scene. Upon seeing Princess Dengfeng unharmed, they all breathed a collective sigh of relief. Rest assured, everyone, Princess Dengfeng declared loudly, raising morale, Si Wuyan has been severely wounded by this princess and our friends from the Zhu Li tribe. He fled in disgrace. His so-called, true disciple status, is a sham. When you encounter martial mystic cultivators from the Rice Palace, tell them to replace their true disciple immediately. Si Wuyan should never show his face again. The demonic beast army erupted into triumphant roars, as if they had won a great victory. On the journey back to Nine Ring Reef, Li Weiyi and Princess Dengfeng finalized their collaborative plans. Neither mentioned the Earth Book, instead discussing legends of Yujia and Phoenix Tree Dragon City. Legend says Yujia drank from the mother-child spring and gave birth to the flying dragon and flying phoenix. And the mother-child spring, Princess Dengfeng added, was originally located beneath a phoenix tree in Dragon City. It changed hands many times before finally falling into the possession of the Holy Infant. Li Weiyi asked, Does Dragon City, the one in the mirage, truly exist? Princess Dengfeng shook her head slightly, indicating she didn't know. Yujia left nearly 10,000 years ago. That's too long ago, long enough to bury all truth. Most of what we know comes from fragmented legends. Even if such a magnificent ancient city once existed in the East Sea, it would long since have been swallowed by the earth and reduced to ruins. Li Weiyi said, Your Highness's fire spring seems to have a very extraordinary origin. Si Wuyan mentioned that it's renowned alongside the wisdom spring and mother-child spring. Princess Dengfeng found the Zhu Li divine hidden one's lack of boundaries quite presumptuous. They weren't yet close enough to discuss such personal matters. She replied evasively, If it were truly that powerful, how could it fail to incinerate a Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator? His outburst was merely a ploy to turn us against each other, using us as pawns. Upon returning to Nine Ring Reef, Li Weiyi cautioned the 3 clan chiefs and 4 priests to remain vigilant against retaliation and assassinations from the Rice Palace. He then retreated into the blood mud space to refine the eternal life petal in seclusion. Whoosh! The cocoon of time materialized, enveloping him and the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors. The golden, heart-shaped petal, as if forged from pure gold, was surprisingly heavy for its thinness, weighing over half a kilogram. Its fragrance was intense, and golden wisps of light shimmered like silk. According to Zhuoqiu Hongting, it must first be refined with spiritual qi before consumption. Sizzle. Spiritual qi, manifesting as a 7-clawed flame heavenly dragon, surged from the palms of his hands. The small space between his hands transformed into a miniature cauldron, enveloping the petal and gradually refining it into a liquid. Only a single, tiny drop remained. The size of a soybean, it resembled a medicinal pill. Li Wei swallowed it. Instantly, his body felt as if it had been set ablaze. A searing pain erupted in his abdomen, as if thousands of fiery streams were coursing through his organs, burning relentlessly. The medicine surged violently, golden light erupting from every pore in his body. Pain seared through his bones. Every bone in his body felt as if it were being roasted over a fire, burning as hot as molten iron. And this was after refining the medicine before consumption. Had he swallowed it directly without refining, the reaction would have been unimaginably more violent. Unable to withstand the intensity, he would have been consumed by flames and perished. The 3 petals of the immortal herb each possessed distinct effects, typically requiring simultaneous consumption for optimal synergy. The crimson petal cultivated blood qi, muscles, and internal organs. The azure petal refined tendons and sculpted skin. Li Wei, having already cultivated his physical body to over 70% of the immortal body's strength, dared to consume the entire golden petal's liquid essence in one go, forging his golden bones to 99% completion. Those with weaker physical bodies would need to consume it in stages. Crackling. His bones strengthened at an astonishing rate, growing increasingly scorching, far surpassing the resilience of his flesh, tendons, and skin. The transformation lasted a full 4 days. As the golden radiance gradually faded, Li Wei felt his body had become incomparably solid. His spine stood like a mountain peak, his arms like divine bridges, capable of supporting the heavens themselves. With his golden bones now 99% of the immortal body's strength, his physical defenses had surged dramatically. In battle, he could now withstand attacks from some martial mystic cultivators, spiritual artifacts without flinching. His strength hadn't increased significantly. His muscles, blood qi, and tendons remained at their previous level. He needed the blue and crimson petals. Immortal herb is truly profound, the most miraculous medicine in the Dao seed realm. If another plant appears, we must seize it at any cost. Li Wei tossed the 6 phoenix-winged moth emperors into the blood-mud space, taking only Feng with him as he left. The immortal-seeking pearl within Feng could sense the 6-clawed immortal dragon qi and the emergence of immortal herb in advance. This advantage allowed Li Wei to reach the plant before anyone else and claim it. On the deck, Yuer practiced the Chan sect's 12 dispersed hands with precise movements and diligent effort. However, her techniques lacked power, mere empty forms. Li Wei had forbidden anyone from sparring with her. Xuanhuan Hongting stood by the deck railing, dressed in men's attire, a folding fan in hand, and a hair ribbon fluttering in the wind. She struck a graceful pose against the breeze. What kind of master are you? Yuer is so diligent and eager to learn, yet you won't teach her breathing techniques or meditation techniques. If you're hoarding your knowledge, you might as well give her to me as a disciple. Li Wei gazed at her, inwardly sighing. If Xuanhuan Hongting ever learned that Yuer was the Grand Palace Master, could she overcome her inner turmoil? After all, Xuanhuan Hongting's father had died in Lingxiao City due to the Shoutian Edict, and she had always regarded the Grand Palace Master as her father's killer. Li Wei said, "You don't understand. This is a special cultivation method from our sect. One must practice the Chan sect's 12 dispersed hands for at least a decade or 2 before even touching the martial mystic path. Only then can they, like me, unlock more meridian veins, forge golden meridians, and progress 1,000 miles in a single day of cultivation. These 12 dispersed hands repeatedly temper the body, enhancing one's innate talent and foundation. We can't rush to build the tower, we must spend more time laying a solid foundation." Xuanhuan Hongting was moved, secretly pondering his words, and surprisingly, she found herself believing his explanation. After finishing her practice, Yuer retrieved paper and ink, silently recording Li Wei's teachings. Her habit of daily journaling was even more disciplined than his. Xuanhuan Hongting and Li Wei walked across the waves to reach Phoenix Stone Reef. On the islet reef, dozens of martial mystic cultivators from the Lingxiao realm had gathered, each stepping forward to pay their respects and offer greetings, even the elder generation's powerhouses. In the end, strength remained the ultimate truth. Xuanhuan Hongting said, "Princess Dengfeng is deeply cunning and cannot be fully trusted. She publicly claims that Lu Fengshu and Wu Hongling have an extraordinary relationship, feigning enmity while secretly forging an alliance to seize the true disciple positions of Sheng Wulian and Si Wuyan. Her true aim is to make the Rice Palace see us as their greatest enemy." Li Wei understood Princess Dengfeng's cunning nature all too well, recognizing her hidden motives. Among all the factions gathered at Nine Ring Reef, including those within the Lingxiao realm, competition is their primary relationship. Cooperation comes second. Cooperation is born of necessity, a forced choice for survival and profit. Therefore, we shouldn't dwell on it. Our main goal is to absorb the 6-clawed immortal dragon qi and advance our cultivation realms. The day was clear, with a gentle breeze and warm sunlight. On Phoenix Stone Reef, Li Wei spent 4 hours studying the island's formation scriptures and the dragon-locking pillars. Feng transmitted his intent. The immortal seeking pearl senses it 60 miles east. Li Wei's heart leapt with joy. He grabbed the bewildered Xuanhuan Hongting, and they transformed into 2 streaks of light, shooting eastward. The Lingxiao martial mystic cultivators on Phoenix Stone Reef stared after them, utterly confused. Even Xuanhuan Hongting, being dragged along, repeatedly asked Li Wei what he was doing. The sea surface remained calm and still, showing no signs of anything amiss. Ow! Suddenly, a deep dragon's roar echoed from the depths. The sea surface burst into flames. Immortal haze surged skyward, its ethereal glow coalescing into strands of 6-clawed immortal dragon chi. Quickly absorb it. Li Wei urged, releasing his Wind Mansion's Dao Heart manifestation, a 7-clawed flame heavenly dragon. The dragon soared forth, enveloping the sea and devouring the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi. You're becoming increasingly enigmatic, Xuanhuan Hongting remarked, releasing her own Dao Heart manifestation. The spiritual chi erupting from her ancestral field materialized as a 5-clawed true dragon. The young heavenly emperor, who had cultivated at the Calamity Crossing Temple, had only reached the 5-clawed true dragon level. Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting absorbed the majority of the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi before other martial mystic cultivators from the surrounding islets arrived. They refrained from using spiritual artifacts to collect the chi for 2 reasons. First, the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi dispersing from the seabed was limited, they hadn't fully absorbed it because the sea's surface was too vast. Second, they didn't want to become targets of envy. They needed to leave some for the others. Let's go. Before the arriving powerhouses could converge, Li Wei pulled Xuanhuan Hongting away, fleeing ahead of the crowd. Back on their ship, the pair sat in meditation to refine the chi. Within an hour, their cultivation realms had both advanced significantly. Xuanhuan Hongting glowed with a radiant aura, her essence, chi, and spirit brimming with vitality. After absorbing the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi, she said gleefully, I feel like my spiritual chi will transform into the form of a 6-clawed immortal dragon even before reaching the immortal realm. Martial mystic cultivators practicing dragon seed cultivation will undoubtedly experience a surge in their cultivation during this East Sea expedition. For the next 2 days, Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting waited on Phoenix Stone Reef. As soon as Feng sent word, they would rush to the location and claim the lion's share of the chi. It wasn't that they didn't want to invite others. The others were either too weak, or their cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9th heaven. Those who were too weak risked death if they went. As for the 9th heaven peak experts, a small amount of 6-clawed immortal dragon chi wouldn't be enough to help them break through to the immortal realm. However, by the 3rd day, everyone had noticed the pattern. They realized that Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting must have a way to predict the time and location of the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi's release in advance. By noon that day, Phoenix Stone Reef was packed with people, their heads bobbing as they waited for Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting to arrive. In the distant sea, figures of powerful individuals from various factions appeared, flood dragons, demons, ricefolk, all watching Li Wei's every move. Even the Calamity Crossing Temple and Princess Dengfeng sent Yaoyan and the Water Beaver Immortal, respectively, to inquire. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.